Ever wished you had like a research assistant? One that could just
Very
devour
funny,
tons of
honestly.
information and then give you this perfectly organized report. I mean, that sounds pretty good, right? Well, OpenAI's deep research might be that, or at least that's what they want us to think. It's supposed to analyze all this data and then like synthesize it into a report with citations and everything. Of course, it's all in beta, so you probably shouldn't fire your human assistant just yet. But today we're going to dive deep into this whole deep research thing, figure out what it can do compared to other tools and see if it's actually a big deal or just like AI hype. So, deep research. What is it exactly? It's basically an AI research tool built on OpenAI's O3 model. They say it's made for web research and like data analysis. This O3 engine is pretty interesting, though. It uses a mix of some pretty cutting edge technologies, I guess. Reinforcement learning, multimodal processing, and long term thinking. Sounds a bit like a bunch of buzzwords, right? But let's see what it actually means. Reinforcement learning basically means the model learns by doing. It's like when you train a puppy. You give it treats when it's good, and eventually learns tricks. So deep research is trained on a bunch of data, and it learns to navigate websites, understand information, and make its search better based on what it finds. I wonder if it learns faster than a puppy, though. Let me know what you think in the comments. And we've got multimodal processing. This means deep research isn't limited to just text. It can actually analyze images and PDFs too, which is definitely better than those search engines that can barely handle anything beyond like plain text. I mean, who hasn't wasted hours trying to find some diagram buried in a huge PDF? So that's a good feature. And then there's long-term thinking. This means deep research doesn't just rush through its analysis. It takes its time, like 5 to 30 minutes per query, to like really understand everything and connect the dots. So you want to be patient and wait a bit. So how does this all actually work? Well, you start by asking deep research a question. Like let's say you're interested in hydrogen fuel cells in Europe. You type your question, hit enter, and deep research starts looking for information. It goes through all these sources, gets the important data points, and makes sure to cite everything. Then it gives you a structured report summarizing everything with links to the sources it used. They're even saying they'll add visualizations in the future. Sounds pretty fancy, right? But let's not get too excited just yet. We need to see how it compares to the other options out there. The competition. First up, we have GPT-4. The big AI everyone's talking about. It's pretty good at having conversations and writing different things. But when it comes to like deep analysis with citations and stuff, deep research seems to be better. The article we're looking at actually criticizes GPT-4, saying it got an answer wrong about a TV episode. But deep research got it right. It makes you wonder if chatbots are going to be useless soon. And maybe they'll just be for creative stuff, while deep research takes over the serious research, especially if you've ever been fooled by a chatbot giving a wrong answer. That seemed right at first. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Anyway, next we have deep research going up against DeepSeek R1. This was from China, and it's supposed to be really efficient with computing power and have special search features. Sounds impressive, right? But deep research actually beats it in some tests, like the humanities last exam. I don't know who comes up with these names, but it shows that deep research is better at analyzing things. DeepSeek is more about just getting data. While deep research can actually create a story with analysis, it's like the difference between just a bunch of facts and a well-written essay. So for people who need more than just data, like academics and analysts, deep research seems like the better option. And then you have all the others. Claude 3.5 Sonnet, Gemini thinking, and those regular search engines that just give you a ton of links. They all seem to be behind deep research, at least according to the test. So maybe OpenAI is really onto something here. But let's not jump to conclusions just yet. Let's look at the good and the bad of this deep research thing. Okay, so first, the good stuff. The biggest advantage is probably saving time. Imagine if you could do hours of research in just minutes. That's what deep research is supposed to do. It could be great for anyone who does a lot of research, like scientists, financial analysts, or even students. Of course, we have to see if it actually lives up to the hype. Only time will tell. Another good thing is transparency. With all this fake news going around, it's good to have a tool that's actually accountable. Deep research backs up all its claims with sources, so you know it's reliable. It's like having a fact checker built in. And then there's the fact that deep research can be used for so many things. The article talks about science, finance, even helping people make decisions about what to buy. Imagine getting recommendations based on real data, not just marketing stuff. That would be pretty cool. But before you go and subscribe to deep research, let's talk about some of the downsides. First of all, it's expensive. All that computing power costs money. So right now, it's only for people who can pay a lot. Then there's the fact that it's not available everywhere. Like in Europe, it seems like even AI has to deal with regulations. And lastly, even though deep research is supposed to be really smart, it still messes up sometimes. like with formatting citations and tables. It's kind of funny. Even the most advanced AI can't get those things right all the time. It reminds us that AI is still being developed. Okay, so let's say you have to make like a tough decision, like should you buy that self-driving scooter everyone's talking about? I mean, you could spend hours reading reviews, comparing specs, trying to figure out what all the marketing stuff means. Or you could just ask deep research. Something like, what are the pros and cons of owning a self-driving electric scooter? And then bam, like 30 minutes later, you have a report with all the important info, safety concerns, and what other people are saying, all organized and cited. So you can look into it more if you want. That's the cool thing about deep research. It doesn't just give you information. It gives you insights. You save time. And maybe you don't make a bad decision. But let's not get too excited about AI shopping assistants just yet. There's something bigger to think about here. This whole thing raises some pretty deep questions. Like, what does this mean for research in general? If anyone can get this kind of analysis so easily, will we even need libraries anymore? What about universities? Will they become obsolete? What about experts? Will we all just become analysts in our armchairs, relying on deep research to do the thinking for us? It's a pretty crazy thought, right? But here's the thing. Deep research is still just a tool. It's like a really powerful calculator for information. It can do all this analysis and stuff, but it can't actually think for itself. It can't make judgments or understand human stuff. That's still something only we can do. But there's one thing that worries me about deep research. It's the connection to AGI, artificial general intelligence. Machines that can actually think like humans. If being able to put together knowledge is a step towards that, then are we creating something that could change everything? And maybe not in a good way. The article mentions that OpenAI wants to add this operator thing to deep research, which would let it not only analyze data, but also take actions based on it. Like imagine deep research tells you the stock market's going to crash, and then it automatically sells all your stocks before you even have time to react. That's kind of cool, but also kind of scary, right? Who's really in control then? I mean, the future of deep research, and AI in general, it's still up in the air, and we all have a role to play in shaping it. Do we want AI to help us, solve problems? Or do we risk creating something that could control us? These are some serious questions we need to think about. So as we finish up this deep dive, I just want to leave you with a few things to remember. First, don't believe all the hype. AI is powerful, but it's not magic. Be skeptical and think critically. Second, stay informed. AI is changing all the time, so keep up with the latest developments. And lastly, don't be afraid to ask the tough questions. What kind of future do we want with AI? What are the ethical issues? What are the risks? The more we talk about these things, the better prepared we'll be for whatever comes next. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.